Philadelphia 76ers came into the 2019-2020 season as the perennial favorites to represent the Eastern Conference in the upcoming NBA Finals. However, with a record of 31-20, which holds the sixth spot in the Eastern Conference, that dream is anything but true. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are often brought up as the main culprits for the Sixers' current play and situation. Where does Brett Brown's role lie in this situation? My name is Vernon F. Miller, and this is Sports News Stream, where we provide the latest content in sports. Please, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of all the latest content that we upload. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you, and don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. We reply to all comments. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers aren't playing very well, and they aren't looking very well. They are 31-20, sixth spot in the Eastern Conference, and they were manhandled by the Miami Heat. The last game they played, 137-106. Now, Joel Embiid still had 29 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists. Ben Simmons had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Mike Scott finished with 17 points. Meanwhile, Jimmy Butler scorched them for, I believe it was 37 points. And Dragic, he had 24 points. But nonetheless, the Sixers looked like they didn't have a clue going against Miami. They looked disingenuous. They didn't look engaged. There was no effort. Looked like they were just going through the motions. Tobias Harris looked awful. Al Horford looked awful. Both of these guys combined for 12 points. Tobias Harris had 6 points, 5 rebounds. Al Horford had 6 points, 4 rebounds, which is unacceptable when both of these guys are close to $300 million in salary in its totality. It isn't looking very good. It isn't looking very good at all. When you look at the roster on paper, Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, that's your backcourt. Tobias Harris, Al Horford, Joel Embiid. These guys are big, they're long. Most of them, for the most part, are young. Should be able to go ahead and, at the very least, top 3 in the Eastern Conference, I would think. Right now, the Sixers are 22-2 at home, and they're 9-18 away, with a offensive efficiency of 111.4 at home, and they're 105.6 away. That's a net difference of 10 points at home and minus 4.8 away. Something's going on. Obviously, that needs to be addressed. Ben Simmons had a little interview where he said they're soft. He said the Sixers are soft right now. They're getting bullied in certain positions, in certain situations. And I'm starting to see that. I don't think the Sixers respect Brett Brown. And I think Brett Brown he's the main culprit in this situation. And I'm going to tell you why. Starts at the head. Ben Simmons isn't shooting jump shots because you've admittedly allowed him not to shoot jump shots in no form of the fashion. Not a perimeter, not a 3 a night, an attempt. Now we're talking about attempts. We're not talking about actual makes. Ben Simmons with some type of perimeter game, perimeter jump shot, opens up his floor, spreads out the offense, probably adds anywhere from 8 to 10 points to his game alone. Now he doesn't have to sit in the post with Embiid and Al Horford. He can stay at the top of the key like a point guard is supposed to do, and gives Joel Embiid a lot more room to work with. Joel Embiid, nobody's really shooting 3-pointers and making them, so So he feels the need to attempt these 3-pointers. And you as a coach, you're fine with that. You're getting out coached. Certain situation plays, certain situational moments in the game, you're simply getting out coached. Brad Stevenson's had your number since he's walked into the NBA. We can't forget that playoff game in 2018, Game 2, where the Philadelphia 76ers, with about 4 minutes left, heading into halftime, was up 51-34. And by the time halftime came about, Boston ran a 23-0 offensive run on the Philadelphia 76ers to bring it 56-51. And Brett Brown at no point decided to call a timeout to slow the momentum down, knowing that your team never been in this type of situation before. No Kyrie Irving. And these guys are running up and down the floor looking like NBA 2K. And you never once decided to call a timeout. I was ready for Brett Brown to go then. He should have left then. Brett Brown is stunning the growth of one Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. You're not forcing these guys to stretch or expand on their skill set or their potential. Ben Simmons should have been shooting jump shots at least 2 years ago, especially in that playoffs. In that playoff series, Ben Simmons was pretty much mute. If it wasn't for no type of transitional offense, Ben Simmons was almost a hindrance. He was almost a hindrance. Joel Embiid showed up big time. But when those shooters went cold, Redick, Ilyasova, Sarge, when those shooters went cold, that was it. That offense was lethargic. Now you're double teaming Embiid, and you're hoping, and he's kicking it out to a bunch of cold shooters. But yet Brett Brown didn't understand what was going on in that situation, and pretty much got out coached by Brad Stevens. So with that being said, it's almost like Sam Hinkie, who accumulated a plethora of assets for the Philadelphia 76ers. They wind up, out of all those picks, they wind up with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Now don't get me wrong, they are great assets, without a doubt. Joel Embiid, third pick in the first round, 2014. Ben Simmons, first round pick, 2016. I get it. Great picks right there. However, when you start to really look at it, you think to yourself, Hinkie had acquired 11 first-round picks, 18 second-round picks from 2013 all the way up to 2020. Those are a lot of picks, and you did nothing with them. You basically did nothing with them. And even with you having, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you're telling me as a seasoned coach, you was with San Antonio from 2002 to 2013. You're telling me you can't build around these two iconic players? You telling me that you can't build around a 6'10" point guard and a 7'2" center who's averaging 20 and 12 easy? Ben Simmons averaging about 17 points a game. You can't mold, you can't build around, you can't put assets around this guy. Elton Brand is on the clock. Brett Brown is slowly but surely dismantling this team's confidence, their swag. Brett Brown is literally walking around up and down those sidelines like he has no clue. He's not using his bench effectively. He's not calling the correct plays or plays that would be advantageous for his players, you can tell that they're not being taught certain. I'll give you a prime example. If Joel Embiid gets caught up in a double team, he's confused on what to do. He's confused on what to do. He's confused on how to get out of that double team. Ben Simmons is, if he's running a fast break and that team that he's playing against gets back on defense correctly, he's turning around like he left somebody in the car. He left somebody out of the car. I mean, he has no clue what to do if that transition defense gets back in a timely fashion. He's immediately giving up that ball like hot potato. And this is something that should have been corrected during the off season if you're the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Elton Brand is definitely on the clock right now. Everybody knows that Brett Brown is out of here. Of course, you got a couple of coaches that come to mind. Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson. I'm leaning towards maybe a Jason Kidd. He's more of a new breed and more of a young, fresh coach. Fresh eyes, more of an innovative system. You know, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy, they're more somewhat old school. However, I think Mark Jackson, being the fact that he's a former point guard, would be good for Ben Simmons. I also think that Jason Kidd would be too. So, with that being said, Brett Brown is definitely out of here. I don't know. They have to make some type of trade. They have to go ahead and get some type of shooter and maybe another power forward coming off the bench that can put the ball on the floor and get his own point, because the offense definitely looks confusing and stale at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next 36 hours. Trade deadline is February 6th, 3 o'clock. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out for the Sixers. Who do you think should be the coach? And do you think the Sixers should cut ties with Brett Brown right now? That's all we have for right now. On to the next one.